that span. That's like the Splash Brothers, right? They didn't commit a turnover, maybe more importantly, in that frame as well. So let's take a listen to Steph Curry, Steve Kerr, pretty excited after this one.
This is why Steph came back. So everybody out there who thought Steph should have taken the rest of the year off, this is what he does. This is who he is.
We're not guaranteed a series yet, but these nights make everything worth it because you feel the anxiety of having to perform when the lights are bright, do or die game. Like I said, the last 2 days of preparation, trying to get our game plan right, got us really locked in on the moment. So considering how our season has gone and all the injuries and all that, for us to play the way we did tonight, it was special. I know we're not satisfied. We want to go to Phoenix.
A handoff from Draymond. This is what he does.
So everybody out there who thought Steph should have taken the rest of the year off, this is what he does. This is who he is.
We're not guaranteed a series yet, but these nights make everything worth it because you feel the anxiety of having to perform when the lights are bright, do or die game. Like I said, the last 2 days of preparation, trying to get our game plan right, got us really locked in on the moment. So considering how our season has gone and all the injuries and all that, for us to play the way we did tonight, it was special. I know we're not satisfied. We want to go to Phoenix and guarantee, a playoff series against OKC. That's the next goal. But for us to lock in on just 48 minutes, figure it out, however we can, get a win, knowing that the game was not going to be perfect, we were all pretty committed to that.
For one night, we're us. We're champions again.
So, Stubbs, we were in the building for this one. This was the happiest that I have seen Steve Kerr in quite some time. For one night, we are champions again. I mean, he was elated. Yeah, Steph Curry went over that minute limit. He played 36. That's his most since he returned to the Warriors lineup. And, Shump, I know you've had the experience of Steph Curry postseason firsthand, but you told our producers that the Clippers, they made a strategic error, you thought, defending him. What did you see there?
Yeah, and especially me getting the chance to play under T. Lue. I watched a ton of film with knowing that Steph Curry is just nursing that right knee. To see him go left as much as he did was actually concerning if I'm looking at it from a standpoint of what the Clippers were doing in their game plan defensively against him. They didn't force his right leg to be his brakes. If you notice, everything he shot, he fell and made sure that most of his balance relied on his left leg. And I just expected them to make him shoot from the right side of the floor where he would have to load and then as well as use the brakes on that right leg just to make sure that they have any type of chance and make sure that, the release is not going to be as quick because he would have to make sure he corrals, get his balance, and make sure it's a good shot every time. It was concerning to me. Everything that he did was going left. He was putting on the brakes to do a quick step back. It wasn't one of those hard step backs. It's like a quick side step to a step back. And I just thought that I would see more forcing him downhill to have to explode going left and then cutting that step off, cutting the step back off and then getting him to the right side of the floor if he is going to raise for jump shots to make sure that that right foot has to hit last and that he has that balance.
You know who's keying in on that? Phoenix right now is listening to Iman Shumpert and saying, oh, okay, let me just make sure we take some notes on that,
Dylan
right?
Brooks, just like this.
Dylan Brooks is saying, yep, okay, understood the assignment right here for their next play-in game. But it wasn't just Steph, right? Steph was a huge part of being able to close this one out. But Draymond's defense on Kawhi Leonard, Kawhi even had high praise for him, called him a Hall of Famer. This is why he's a Hall of Famer after the game.
Yeah, these were the two pillars of the Warriors dynasty, giving us a glimpse of that greatness, reminding us of why they're going to be first ballot Hall of Famers. And I don't know, has there been a better defensive quarter played by anybody this season? I'm sure Wemby has the case, but as Kawhi said, it was hard to even get a shot up. I mean, Draymond just draping him all over the floor. Certainly one of the most versatile, dominant defenders that we've ever seen. This is a guy who can anchor a defense and who can say, hey, I'm taking the challenge of an elite scorer on ball. He's not going to be able to get shots up and then coming up with the two huge steals down the stretch when the Warriors needed those stops the most.
And he was a little under the weather, right, Chums?
Yeah, vintage Draymond Green.
Right.
This was a defensive masterclass. But to me, what was even more impressive was team sources told me Draymond Green was sick. He was throwing up, puking all over the place in pregame. Sideline, in the back area by the locker room. And you could tell as the game was starting, his energy level looked a little low. But darn, that fourth quarter,
especially
those final 6 to 8 minutes of the game, I think he guarded, here's a stat from our ESPN Stats and Info group. He guarded Kawhi Leonard on 12 possessions in the fourth quarter.
Warriors Nation news, Dub Nation, let me ask you something. This should make every real fan stop scrolling right now. What do you call it when a 37-45 team down 13 in the fourth quarter of a win-or-go-home game with an aging core and a superstar still coming back from a knee injury suddenly looks the other team in the face and says, "Nah, not tonight"? Ha! You call that the Warriors remembering exactly who they are. You call that championship DNA waking up at the loudest possible moment. Because Golden State just ripped the Clippers apart late, winning 126-121 in the play-in after closing on a 27-13 run. And Steph Curry did what Steph Curry does when the season is on the line. 35 points, 7 threes, and one more reminder that the scariest shot in basketball is still the one he wants to take most. Reuters reported the Warriors erased that 13-point fourth-quarter hole and moved on to another elimination game for the West's number 8 seed. And hold on, the wildest part is this was not some fully comfortable, full rhythm, everything is back to normal stuff. Before the Clippers game, Reuters reported Curry was still expected to be around 32 minutes after missing 27 games with a right knee injury. And since returning, he had not played more than 29 minutes. Then the pressure got ugly, the building got tense, and Steph still bent the night anyway. Woo-hoo! That is why nobody serious ever treats Golden State like just another play-in team. Restricted Steph is still Steph. Managed Steph is still Steph. And once he sees a season hanging there, he still turns panic into poetry. But Dub Nation, this is why this win felt bigger than just a box score. It was not only Steph. Al Horford, at 39 years old, scored all 14 of his points in the final 5:37 and drilled 4 gigantic threes. Guy Santos gave them 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. Kristaps Porzingis added 20 more. The San Francisco Chronicle described it like Steph and Draymond Green turned back the clock, but with the new and veteran pieces around them finally landing real blows too. Yeah! That is the formula Warriors fans have been begging to see. Steph creating fear, Draymond creating chaos, and the rest of the group actually cashing in when the game gets desperate. And man, Draymond, we have to talk about Draymond, because if Steph was the explosion, Draymond was the suffocation. The Chronicle highlighted the Curry-Draymond chemistry late, and multiple post-game breakdowns centered on Green's steals, defensive pressure, and ability to make the game feel miserable for the other side when everything tightened up. That is the old Warriors poison. They don't need to dominate every quarter. They just need the game to still be breathing in the last 5 minutes, because once it is, Steph and Draymond start speaking that ugly fourth-quarter language only champions really know. Now, the next chapter is Phoenix, and that's where this gets really spicy. NBA.com and Reuters both point to the same reality. Golden State now gets another winner-take-all game, this time against the Suns for the number 8 seed, with Oklahoma City waiting in round 1 for whoever survives. So no, the job is not finished, not even close, but this is where Warriors fans should feel real juice, real belief, real noise in the chest, because the Warriors already showed they can drag a team into deep water fast, and once they do, experience starts hitting harder than seeding. And the regular season gives Dub Nation a reason to believe too, because Golden State took the season series over Phoenix 3-1. That doesn't guarantee a thing, nah, but it absolutely says the Warriors are not walking into that building scared. What I love most is how fast the emotional weather changed around this team. A few days ago, it was all about the losing record, the injuries, the age, the restrictions, the fear that this run might just fade out quietly. Then one game happens, one Steph eruption happens, one Horford avalanche happens, one Draymond defensive clinic happens, and suddenly it feels alive again. Warriors coverage from the last 24 hours hammered home the same message Steve Kerr did. This is why Steph came back, for meaningful basketball, for these nights, for this feeling, for one more chance to make the whole sport lean forward and watch. Ha! And once Golden State gets access to meaningful basketball, every equation changes. So here's my final take, loud and clear, favorable to the Warriors all the way. Not because the path is easy, not because Phoenix is soft, not because this team suddenly became flawless overnight. Favorable because in the only environment that matters now, win or go home basketball, Golden State just proved it still has the one thing you can't fake: championship composure under chaos. Steph still owns moments. Draymond still warps endings. Horford still has that cold-blooded veteran nerve. Porzingis and Gee gave them real support, not fake support, real support. And once the Warriors drag a game into the last 5 minutes with Steph Curry alive, yeah, the clean logic everybody loves starts melting real fast. That's still a dangerous team. That's still a scary team. And that's still a team nobody wants to see get hot the wrong time. Now tell me, Dub Nation, after that comeback against the Clippers, do you believe the Warriors finished the job against Phoenix and steal the 8th seed? Or was that comeback the emotional peak of the run? Drop your take in the comments, hit like, and subscribe to Warriors Nation News.